George Freeman, Vice President and Assistant General Counsel of the New York Times, visited Fresno State Thursday afternoon to speak to students about the First Amendment and other historic issues. The hour-long keynote covered Freeman's views on the First Amendment as well as the Pentagon Papers and Wikileaks.
In the Pentagon Papers case, I think both because they were original government documents was all we had, and because we knew the Nixon administration would not be helping us in the least, we didn't go to the government to get their take on the whole thing at all. In the WikiLeaks and in the warrantless wiretapping, we did, and I think in both those cases we did because we had the knowledge that if we got wind of the fact that they were going to try to stop us, we could put it on the internet, and so any sort of attempt to stop us would be moot.
Freeman has had many encounters with high-profile individuals throughout his career, such as Daniel Ellsberg, the man who leaked the Pentagon Papers to the New York Times.
Generally, I ask him about the Pentagon Papers, and he ends up answering by reference to something that troubles him as to what's going on today. So he's still extremely concerned about what the country and the government is doing today.
Right.
Freeman spoke on the rising trend of social networks.
By now, the fact that you don't even anymore get all the news from, if it's not from your own staff, from a tabloid or a cable TV outlet, but you could be getting it from non-journalists who are just tweeting away, but they're at a scene. Let's say the demonstrations in Cairo is the most obvious example. And what are you going to do with that? I think you have to be really hesitant by just putting anyone's tweets in a newspaper that has credibility, because who knows what their agendas are, who knows what their biases are.
Freeman graduated from Amherst College in 1971 and Harvard Law School in 1975. In 1979, he was a member of the New York Bar Association delegation and toured China. Before receiving his current position as Vice President of the New York Times, Freeman represented the Times in litigation cases as an associate for a New York law firm.
You hope that then in the end the press will make an independent decision, because it has to be independent of government, but an independent and responsible decision as to whether or not to publish something. In the end, our country has been the better for it for the 200 and some odd years we've existed, to have an independent agency, the press, not really an agency, an independent entity, make these decisions, because if government's going to make those for us, we're never really going to learn what government is doing, and I think that's a greater harm to our system of democracy than having the risk of having someone other than government make the decisions as to what gets published.